This is Danny Flexen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by Krassyuk, the promoter, of course, of unified world heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk, here in London. Now, I'm saying here in London. I'm in Kent at the moment, but I'll be in London tomorrow, as you will, for the press conference. How are you?
Oh, Danny, thank you very much. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear it. Let's start from the start. When Anthony Joshua decided to exercise his right to an immediate rematch, were you at all surprised? Did you think he may take a fight in between, go a different route perhaps?
You know what, Danny? He exercised his right for the rematch exactly after the result was announced.
Okay.
He mentioned it in the ring. He said, "We still got the rematch to go. See you in the rematch." So there was no surprise at all.
Oh, okay.
He's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's like he's a true professional. He's a former heavyweight champion. He defeated Klitschko, who was the king of the division. So this man has many things behind his back.
And on the side of your team and Oleksandr Usyk, was there any difficulty in going back to a training camp and everything else, given the current situation in Ukraine? Because he obviously wanted to be with his people.
That's true. That's an absolutely extraordinary situation for all of us, all of the Ukrainians. Every day, a lot of people dying. That was a really unexpected invasion of a neighbor country to our country. And the first days, it was a complete shock for all of us. Then, as normally human being does, we started to getting used to it somehow. And after a couple of weeks, you come back to your mind and you start to analyze things properly. So it took us a while. It took us some big efforts and will to make it happen. Usyk was defending his home, and he had the opportunity to talk to many soldiers. He visited hospitals, and most of them advised him to go and fight, because participating in such a world-level event would help Ukraine in a different manner. That will draw attention of tens of millions of people around the world, hundreds of millions of people around the world to the country of Ukraine, when Ukrainian flag will be on the ring, when the Ukrainian anthem will be heard. So that was actually the point where he took his personal final decision to get involved. So then we had all the arrangements. We got the official approval of the government to leave the country and to participate in this show.
And I believe you've left Ukraine for obviously similar reasons. Just tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, we left together. We were together with Usyk on the same day, the same border, in the same line of cars. Well, 5 o'clock in the morning, you open your eyes because you think, you have an impression that you heard the explosion. And you just cannot realize whether it was a dream or the reality. You keep your eyes open, and then you hear it, that unfortunately, it is the reality. It's not a nightmare. So you realize that the war started.
Yeah.
So you pick up your stuff, and when you are in Kiev, and Kiev is the capital of Ukraine, you want to do your best to make your family escape from the dangerous place. So that's how it was. It took us a couple of days. Then my family left to Europe. and we stayed in Ukraine to work hard. And when we got the permission, so we started all the preparations, and now we are doing our best to make it happen in the best possible way.
So where did you guys have your camp? Where has Oleksandr been doing the majority of his training?
At the moment, he's training in the same climate zone in Dubai. He's working in Dubai.
Okay. Has that been, I mean, the facilities I'm sure are excellent, but has that been unsettling in any way for him because of what he's used to, what he's accustomed to?
He's a road warrior. I just can't recall his last fight. Probably before he turned the world champion in cruiserweight. That was the last fight that took place in Ukraine. All other were in Germany, in Latvia, in United States, in England. Yeah. So he's there's no problem for him. There's no problem for him to train. His family is safe. His mom is safe. So he doesn't feel that pressure like for his relatives. So he's concentrated. Where he stays focused with his team. They are working hard. They are doing things they never did before, because they need to complete an assignment that they never did before. I mean, they got the victory over Joshua in the first fight, being the mandatory. But this is a completely different assignment, to defend your belts, being the champion already.
You mentioned earlier that Usyk had visited hospitals, soldiers, obviously on the front line, and they'd all encouraged him to fight Joshua because he could use his platform for a greater good in that way. Will this give him extra motivation? I mean, he's always been motivated, but will this be an extra incentive for him to get the job done?
I'm pretty sure it will. Because the hearts of the whole nation will be with him, will be supporting him in this very, very important fight for the whole country. Ukraine needs a victory. Whatever victory it is, it's the motivation for the whole nation. So I think that's be not just an extra, but it's going to be a huge incentive for him to win and to devote this victory for his name, for his homeland.
Were you at all surprised, or how did you react when you heard Joshua had made changes to his training team in advance of the rematch?
Well, if you did not succeed, it means that you made a mistake. Sure. If you made a mistake, you have to work on the mistakes. And I'm pretty sure he's a very intelligent man. He's very smart. Probably he made the analysis of what was wrong and took the decision to improve some sort of things in his training. So we can't anticipate what's gonna be, what kind of fight is gonna be, because it's a new trainer. No one knows how it would influence Anthony Joshua. But if he took that kind of very serious decision, there probably gonna be some very serious reason behind it.
Now, Anthony Joshua recently signed an exclusive deal with DAZN, a long-term deal, broadcasting deal in the UK. But this fight may not be on DAZN. How have we come to this situation?
Just imagine the fight goes to purse bids, and the other promoter wins the purse bid. Everything belongs to him, and he is the one to make the final decision. So it's not about Joshua, it's not about DAZN, it's not about Sky Sports or whatever broadcaster. It's all about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who are hosting this huge event, who are doing their best to make it happen, and they are the final decision makers in defining the broadcaster.
And do you believe they will be looking for the most lucrative financially offer on the table, or will there be other considerations?
Well, I'm not really involved in this business, but just from it's a matter of common reason that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is transforming now, and they are investing in sports and in boxing in particular. So the biggest thing for them is, the more important thing for them is exposure rather than business. So I think the station, the broadcaster that would offer them the biggest audience will probably be the one, but it's only my own opinion.
Do you think that will maybe unsettle Joshua and his team at all? That, you know, he's fought on Sky before, of course, but having just left them, being forced in essence to go back to them would be a little strange.
It's all about business, you know. At the end of the day, a fighter's obligation is to fight. So it's number one. It's number one obligation. So you are a fighter, so you have to be successful in the ring. Everything else comes second, third, fourth, and etc. So I don't think he should be very much concerned about it. I think his biggest concern should be the game plan for the fight.
And while Usyk will be confident of victory, like any fighter, he won't look too far beyond the next fight. You, however, are a promoter, so you do have that luxury, and you do, in fact, need to make long-term plans, I guess, as well. What's the kind of bigger picture for Usyk should he defeat Joshua for a second time?
I don't know. Otherwise, this fight would not be interesting to watch.
True.
No, really. Joshua is not a kid from a kindergarten.
No.
He's a very serious man. Well, he like every human being, he has his good sides and like negative sides. I mean, from sports wise, yeah, boxing wise. But he has some advantages, really considerable advantages, like size, like experience, like punch, and he has some sort of things that he's not good at, like if to compare with Usyk, like footwork, like speed, boxing IQ, which comes from experience in amateur boxing. But as Vitaly Klitschko used to say, there is no strongest fighter in the world. It's all a matter of how good you are prepared for 46 minutes of fight. This is decisive. You can be very, very good in trainings and sparrings, but if something goes wrong within just 45 minutes and you lose or you win, you are declared the loser or the winner. Sure. And this is the only thing that makes sense. So if you are lucky, if you worked hard enough, if you deserve the victory, then you are a winner and you are a champion. And all kind of recognition comes up to you. That's the biggest, the toughest thing for a fighter is the persistent work in the training camp, because the fight itself is always a party. It's a celebration for a fighter, the fight night.
Now, should Usyk win on August the 20th, or regardless, even if Joshua wins, whoever does come out on top, there will immediately be calls for them to challenge for the other belt that they won't have, which is the WBC. Tyson Fury at the moment insists that he's still retired and wants £500 million, is it, or 500 billion, whatever it is, to come back. I'm not sure how true that will be in terms of the future. Would you relish that fight for Usyk with Tyson Fury?
Well, first of all, it's not the first time Tyson Fury retires.
True.
This is number one. Number two, Tyson Fury is not good at the rematches. Well, he did good with Deontay Wilder, but he didn't do good with Vladimir Klitschko.
Well, yeah, and it's the fact they didn't have the rematch. Yeah.
Yes. 4 belts is something that never happened before in the history of boxing, especially in heavyweight division. So this is a historical moment, and it's not about money. It's about the legacy, about the heritage. And this is a real incentive for a warrior. It's a very genuine incentive for a warrior. So if a fighter is a real man, he would agree to fight even for free to get that kind of status. So I don't think it's a big issue with Tyson Fury. I mean, his retirement. I think he might take a decision to come back easily.
Now, if Usyk were to become undisputed at heavyweight, thus matching his achievements at cruiserweight already, would he then, in your view, be the best Ukrainian fighter of all time?
He will be probably the best fighter of all time, not just in Ukraine. No one ever completed that kind of, come on, just undisputed in 2 divisions.
No,
This
not in the 4
is
belt
history.
era, never.
No, this is the history.
And just to kind of take you back to the horrible situation going on in your homeland at the moment, from your view, and I know, you know, you're still in contact with people there, of course, will we see an end to the hostilities anytime soon, in your view? Is there a pathway to you know, either a ceasefire or you know, eventual peace of some kind?
It is the war. The war ends when either one party is defeated or the agreement is reached.
Sure.
But if we look into the history, every single war, no matter how long it lasted, it ends up with an agreement. Good, bad, but it's a matter of fact. So this is not an exception. This war will end one day. But Ukrainians will do everything they can so the agreement is reached on their conditions, on our conditions.
And what impact, if any, would an Usyk victory have on the morale of the Ukrainian people?
Absolutely extraordinary. You know, Usyk is a national hero. He is the icon for the young generation. He is a very powerful example when a kid from a village, actually, a kid from a poor family can work hard, can be persistent, and achieve success in his life. So he will inspire millions throughout the world, and especially in his native Ukraine. That will raise that would raise, just his walk into the ring in these hard times will raise the spirit absolutely, I don't know, to some sky level.
Wow. Well, Alex, really appreciate you joining me. I wish you the very best for the rest of camp. I'll see you at the press conference, of course, tomorrow. And yeah,
thank you, Danny.
Let's hope that's entertaining.